So here is the project at hand. Let me just zoom in a little bit. It's sort of a portion of a residential building here. There's a living and dining room over here and a garage. And then we're just sort of doing this family room, kitchen type space here. There's a little powder room here and a laundry room, and then steps down that go outside and then continue down to the basement level down here. So my take a look at my notes here. My exterior walls are going to be 6 inches. So all of these walls here will be 6 inches, and all of my interior partitions will be 5 inches for this project. So, so for today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draft this up, and I'm going to work relatively quickly here on this because a lot of this stuff will be, you know, it should be pretty familiar to you by now. And so yeah, so let's get into it. So I'll start with a new drawing. And again, I will go over to my templates here. And I'm going to choose the new template that we just downloaded today. And just to verify, there is 11 by 17 in there. So you should be good. All right. So let me look at my notes here on my other screen. Bear with me here. All right, I have my walls layer on. Good. I have my ortho on. I'm turning off my line weights here. And I have my O snaps on. So let's just dig in. So I'm going to start with a line and ortho on. I'm going to go up 12 foot 1, and then I will go up additional 19 foot 8 and over 22 feet 4. And then I'm going to come back down 19 foot 8. But you know what I can do, and this is something that I don't think we've talked about. If I have my my object snap tracking on, this little button just to the left of O snaps, if I have that turned on, if you remember, I did 2 lines, right? I did a 12 foot line and then a 19 foot 8 line. If I find that point here, and I'm just hovering over, I'm not clicking, and then I'm just going to hover. And then you'll notice that little green line, and off to the right, there's an X there. And that is telling me that it is going to extend my line to where the apparent intersection of a horizontal line, that green line, and the vertical line that I'm drawing would be at 90 degrees. You can see the 90-degree thing angle there. So I'm just going to left click, and that drew that line exactly the length that aligned with where I drew that line right there. So that is, I'll do it some more as we're working, and then I'm going to go over on my plan. I don't have an overall of what this distance is, so I'm just going to go over some. I'm just going to sort of start it over there, and then I'll start at the bottom of the kitchen here. And I'll go over 24 foot 4 inches. I'm just looking at the notes there. And then let's see, do I have the length of that room? The room is 8 foot 2 deep. I'm looking in the laundry room. There's a vertical dimension of 8 foot 2 and then 5 inches. So I would add 8 foot 2 and 5. Or what I could do is there's a hallway here that's 3.5 feet wide. So I'm just going to offset 3 foot 6. Come down for that hallway. And while I'm at it, I'll just offset 5 inches for the partition for the wall. Let me just double check and make sure. Yes, that's 3/6. That's what I want. Good. And then at the end of that kitchen wall, I'm just going to go up here perpendicular and offset 5 inches and clean up this with the fillet tool or the trim tool. Either one would work. And now I have the powder room, or the bathroom. On the drawing it says bath. So I'll just offset those rooms, offset what is it, 6'6". And you'll notice that behind the toilet and the sink, I have a 6-inch thick wall. So that, and that's very common in buildings. The plumbing walls very often are a little bit thicker to help to accommodate any piping that's running in the walls. So I'm going to offset that 6. And then I have a laundry room that's 7'7". And another wall that's 5 inches. And then I got a hallway that's going down to the garage, and that's 3'4". 3'4". And I'm just looking at the dimensions on that handout. That's all. And then I got a little closet there. So I'll offset 5 inches. And the closet depth, as we know, is 24 inches or 2 feet. And I'll offset 5 more inches for the back wall of the closet. And then let me just pan over. And then I have a stair that's going down into my basement that's 3'3" wide. So offset 3'3". All right, so now I think what I'll do is I'll just fillet this to kind of close the space off. And I'll fillet this. Good. And I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my exterior walls. My exterior walls, if you remember, are 6 inches thick. So I will offset 6. All right, I'm making sure that I'm offsetting outside my interior faces of the walls. And then I'm going to fillet. So I'll just F, and I'll fillet that and that. This and this. Clean that up. Okay. And let's see. And then my let's see here. And then this, I'll just fillet this here. And so what did they show that wall as? They're showing that wall as 5 inches. So I'm going to offset that 5 inches. And now off to the right, the left here, the room continues on, right? The living room is down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just extending these partitions. I'm just using a grip edit, and I'm just coming down to extend those partitions so that it's apparent that there is another room, and we'll do a cut mark or a cut line right here in a couple minutes. And then I'll do the same thing over here. So I'll just click on that wall, and I'll just sort of do a grip edit, just grabbing this lower grip and bringing that down so that the wall is extended. All right. What else have I got? I've got a opening that is 15'3" from this corner here. So let me go over to my line tool. And what I'll do is I'm going to do snap tracking here. So I have that highlighted. I'm just going to hover, not clicking, and then move over. And I will type 15'3". Oops. Let's try that again. 15'3". There it is. And then I'll just come down perpendicular. That'll mark the opening jamb, and the opening is 6 feet. So I'll offset 6 feet. And then I'll trim. Over to trim here. And I like to do crossings when I trim. I mean, I could click and click to trim, but so I like to just go up here, left click, and then just come down. And this is a crossing fence. It's called a fence here. And it just sort of trims both of them in one action, just a little faster. All right, what else have I got going on here? So let's start by the stairs here. So there's a landing here, and that landing is 3'11". So I'm going to offset 3'11". And you'll notice that the landing is wider than this corridor here, so that's why I didn't extend that there. And this will also mark the north. I'm going to assume north is up here, or the top wall of the closet. So I'll just offset 5 there, and let's just trim this. I'll do trim here. All right. And then my first stair riser, I'll just draw a line here to perpendicular. Now, these risers, there's 3 risers here up at the top of the stair. And those risers are, write this down, 11 inches wide, each one of them. So I'm going to offset 11. And there's 3 of them. There's 1, 2, 3. And you'll notice that when I zoom in, that third riser does not align with the corner of the back of the closet, and that's perfectly fine. That's fine. And then I'm going to draw this riser here, and I've got treads here that are going down, and these treads are 9 inches. So these are 11 and these are 9. So I'm going to offset 9. Oops, offset 9. It's going to go down. Okay. Okay. So I want to sidebar for a moment here and just talk a little bit about stairs. I don't know how many of you have designed stairs in the past, but I just want to give you just a quick little thing about stairs. So in a commercial building, you can't have 9-inch treads. It's against the law. You can't do that. So your treads need to be 11 inches in a commercial building. But this is residential, so we can have 9-inch treads. We can also have 11-inch treads, and these treads are a little more generous because I think the idea is that if you're coming in from this door here, these treads are a little more, a little more gracious to walk up and with your groceries or whatever as you're coming into the kitchen. So these treads are 11 inches. These treads, because we are residential, are 9 inches, and that's perfectly fine. Now, in this stair, there are 2 runs, right? This run of steps is 11-inch treads, and this run of steps is 9-inch treads. One thing that you can never do, unless you have a winder at the end of your stairs where it sort of turns, all of your treads and all of your risers on your steps must be the same. And the idea behind it is that as you are going upstairs or downstairs, you develop a rhythm. You're used to moving your foot forward and up or down an equal amount for each step that you're going up or down on. So if your risers and treads are different, you could easily trip and fall. Just think about it. So So it's important when you are designing stairs, or when you are, even when you're just drawing stairs, or if you're out in the field. Actually, just last weekend, I was field measuring a house up in Lake Forest, and all you need to do is measure one tread, and you'll know that all of them are 9 inches or all of them are 11. So in this run, the treads are 9 inches, and in this run, the treads are 11 inches. Okay, I just wanted to give you that quick little run. I just didn't want you to think that if you're ever measuring a house, you have to measure every single tread, because you don't, unless, of course, it's a winder at the end. And you know what I mean, that winder, where at the bottom, you have some sort of triangular stairs that kind of turn the corner as you go up. All right, anyway, moving on. So let's see, what else? Oh, I've got, actually, it looks like the inside of this closet is only 5'7", and then there's a jog here. So it looks like I've drawn this slightly wrong. So let's do that. So let's fix that. Let me offset 5'7". There it is. And then that wall will be 5 inches. So this here, I will fill it comme ça, and then I will fill it this here, and it looks like this just extends over. I can get rid of these right there. So this extends over here. So I'm going to I'll use the stretch tool, which we started to use last week or last Monday. I'll just click stretch here, and I'll grab the two ends of these horizontal lines here. I'll click that intersection as my base point, and I'll just extend them over to there. And I could do the same here. Just stretch, clean those up there. I'll just trim this so it looks pretty clean, nice and clean. And then I have this wall actually extends over to here. So this time I'll use the extend tool. So I'll use trim, and this time I'm going to hold down shift. And then when I hold shift, it actually extends to the next barrier, which would be this line there. And then when I release shift, I can clean up those intersections. All right. So I'll have a doorway here that goes into my garage. I'll have some sliding doors, or panel doors here, sliding doors here into a closet. I've got a door that goes outside, and what's that? That was an extra line there. And then I have my laundry room, and I have a powder room. Okay, so, and then I have a little linen closet right here that I need to deal with. So that linen closet is 3 feet wide, but we need to think about the walls in this area here. Now, if you remember, this wall here is 6 inches thick, and that's because I'm going to have a toilet here, and I'm going to have a vanity here. So there'll be plumbing in this section of the wall. And then up here, if you look at the plan, there is that little linen closet that's right up here. And the wall on to the right side of the linen closet does not need to be 6 inches thick. That wall can be 5 inches thick. And we want to make it 5 inches thick, because every inch counts. When I don't want to give my valuable real estate to wall thickness when I can give it to the closet. So, all right, so let me start. I'm going to offset the depth of that closet is 2 feet. And then 5-inch wall. I think the dimension is actually showing from here to the outside face, and it's showing 2.5. So that's okay. And then I don't want this piece of wall to be 6 inches thick. I want it to be 5 inches thick. So I'm going to offset 5 inches. So this piece of wall, that's going to be the closet side of my linen closet. So I'm going to fill it right now. And then I'm going to fill it this and this there. So this is, let's just make sure with my measure tool. So this wall is 6 inches right here. And up here, it's 5 inches. And that's exactly what I want. All right. So the width of the
Can I interrupt and ask a quick question?
Sure you can.
When I'm trying to insert doors, all of a sudden now I don't know what I did along the way. When they're inserted, they are like tiny. I don't know what I did to make that happen. Is this something I should stay after for or maybe talk to you about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. All right. Where was I? Oh, I've got my linen closet. So the width of my linen closet is 3 feet, 36 inches or 3 feet. And the wall thickness is 5. And I'll do a little filleting here. And I'll do a wee bit of trimming here. And then I have a bifold door here. So let's construct a bifold door. I'll start by drawing there's some door frames here. So I'm just with the line tool, gonna draw that, and I will offset 2 inches. My door frames are 2 inches. And then I'll trim this, clean this up. And again, I'm just going to click up here, left click, and then just draw my fence and come down. And I've got both of them cleaned up. All right. So how wide is that opening? Let's just go to measure. It's 2'8", right? And so we're going to have a bifold door. And when it's closed, there'll be 2 panels. One that goes to the middle and one that goes to this end over here. So each one of those, if the overall width is 2'8", half of that is 1'4", right? And where door thicknesses, generally on a bifold door, the doors are usually a little 1.5, just a little bit thinner. But if you want to make them 1 3/4, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a rectangle. And I'm just going to draw it out here in the void. And I'm going to make it, what did I say? 1'4" wide, 1'4", and then tab or comma, and then 1.5 inch and a half. So there is the first panel of my bifold door. So I'm going to move this, and what I want. So where do I want? I want the hinge, which will be right here. Wait, yeah. The hinge should be at the midpoint of the door frame. So I'm moving, so my base point will be here where the hinge is. And I want turn off my ortho. And I'm going to move my door so that the hinge is right at the midpoint. All right. Now I need to rotate this some amount, right? And I'm going to rotate it around at the hinge point so that it comes up. So let me just click on rotate, select objects I want to rotate, hit enter, and then I'll choose this point here. And I can't, if I have my my polar tracking on, I can rotate it at 45 degrees, but it doesn't need to be at 45 degrees. It can be anything, it doesn't have to be exact. So if I want to show more open, I'll go up higher. If I want to show more closed, I'll go lower. So I'm just going to do that. So there I have 1/2 of my bifold door. So what do? Do I draw the next one? No. All I do is I need to mirror this one, and the mirror line will be the hinge point, which will be there, of the door, so that the 2 doors touch each other. So I'll just go over to mirror, click the door, click enter. First point of the mirror line will just be right here. And then I'll just go down. I want my ortho on this time. And then I'll just draw my my mirror line. Erase source objects, no thank you. And there's my bifold door. If you want yours open more, I'm just gonna, I'll rotate this some more. So click rotate, click the door, click the hinge point here. This time, I turn ortho off here. This time I'll mirror it up a little higher. And then I'll rotate it a little higher, excuse me, sorry. And then I'll click mirror, click the door panel, click that hinge point for the mirror line, come down. And there I got my bifold door. So we want to draw it accurately. We want the panel lengths to be correct so that we know how far it's going to stick into our corridor area. So we know, what the situation is actually going to be when that's actually built in place. So, so now we can add some doors, right? And, I want to show you another thing that I don't think anyone else would show you guys, but we can borrow stuff from other drawings. And I happen to have my piano office project open here. And I'm just going to go over to model space. So I've got a door here. And I'm just going to copy this door along with the door frames into my new drawing, into my drawing. So what I'll do is I'll just draw a window. I don't want to select any walls or anything. I just want the door and the frame. I'm just going to draw the window, and then I'm going to copy, and I'll just hit Control C. What I'm doing, I'm not using the copy command here in AutoCAD. I'm using my Windows commands, which is Control C. So I'm copying that. Oops. Control C to copy. And now what I'm doing is I'm copying it to the clipboard on my computer. This has nothing to do with AutoCAD. I'm copying it to my clipboard. Now I'll go to my drawing. I'll watch this not work. And then I'll paste it. Control V, V as in Victor, to paste. And then I'll just place it here. And I've got my door in place. Now it's the wrong size, right? It's not fitting. This door is 3 feet, but I want this door to be 2'8". This is going to be a 2'8" door. So I'm just going to reduce the size of it there. And I will change the jamb. The jamb here is, in this case, is 6 inches. I'm going to change it to 5. And of course, I will change the swing to 90 degrees, and it's going to swing into the room. And now it looks like I need to move it a little bit. So I'm just going to move all those pieces there. I'll just clean that up a little bit. And I have this jam here. I'm just going to erase that. Actually, you know what I'm just going to do? I think it's just going to be easier for me if I just draw a line and then offset 2 inches. And I don't need this.
Is the drawing showing the door 2'5", or am I looking at it wrong? Instead of 2'8". Well, it's showing that little wall part 2'5", so I thought that was the door too.
No, this door is actually 32 inches, which is 2'8". So
Oh,
yes, this is 2'8".
Okay.
I'm going to trim this out, and I've got my door. The point of this, you could just as easily hit Control 3 and pull the door in and do it just like we've done, many times before. But the reason why I went through that exercise is to show you that you can take stuff from your other drawings and bring them into your, into whatever project that you're working on. It's very easily done in AutoCAD. So it's available to you if you want. All right, so I've got a laundry here, and actually this time I will.
Yes, sorry. I have a quick question. All the outer wall are 6 inches, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So this door I just brought in, and I'm gonna rotate it 180 degrees, put on my ortho here. And this door to here. Change the swing to 90 degrees. Got those two door jambs, and this time I'm just going to copy them over and trim this out. So let's see. Let me just go back to this for a moment. So this door here is 3 feet. This is a 36-inch door. This door is going outside to the backyard or wherever it's going. This door going into the garage is also 3 feet, 36-inch wide door. Wait, yes, 36-inch wide door. This door going to the laundry is also 36 inches, but the door to the bathroom, this door is 32 inches. Okay. So just want you to make sure that you have the right size doors. All right. Closet door here. And we've got some windows. So let's put the windows in. Let me go back to my notes here. So I have 2'8" to the first window. So I'll go to my line tool. I'll just hover and move up 2'8" and then go across. And I've got, if you look at the handout, well, let me bring the handout back here. You'll notice that the 6'8", the overall width of the window, it goes from outside. It includes all of the door frames, right? Those are all included in here. So from here to here, it's outside to outside of the window. Sometimes you hear the phrase rough opening, and you'll see 6'8" RO, which means rough opening, and that means the full width of the window, including the frame. And usually when we dimension windows, we do dimension the frames, because windows most of the time come pre-assembled, and those windows contain the frames on the outside. So the guy that is, or person assembling or building the wall, wants to know how wide that window opening is. So generally speaking, when you see a window, it's going from the outside to the outside of the window. So 6'8". So I'm just going to offset 6'8". And then I've got my door frame, my window frames, 2 inches, and they go inside. I want to make sure that they're going in the right direction. So you want to make sure that that exterior from here to here is 6'8". And then there's 2 little end windows, and then these probably are either single hung or maybe they're crank or something like that, and they're 18 inches. So I'm going to offset 18 inches, and I'll offset 18 inches here, and then I will offset 2 inches for this casing or frame, window frame. And then I just want to draw my glazing from midpoint to midpoint. Voila. All right, so then I have another window that is 6'1". So I'll offset 6'1". And that window's 3'4". Go up and offset 2 inches inside and inside. Draw my glazing. And now the next window is 6'4" from in between the windows. But if I want to copy this, what I'll do is I'll add 6'4" and 3'4". So that's 9'8". So if I can just copy this window 9 feet 8 inches up, or I could, offset 6'4" and reconstruct the window. I could do it either way. But this time I'm going to copy, and I'll just choose a point. I'll just pick a point out here, and I'll go up. I want to make sure my ortho's on, so I'm going exactly vertical. And what did I say? 9'8". 9'8". And there I have my second window. And I've got, let's just make sure, let me measure this wall in between. Yes, it is. It's 6'4" long, which is exactly correct. And then, let me go back to my little handout here. And then on the other side of the family room here, I have another window, which is the same here. It's exactly in the same location, but it's on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mirror this. So I'll just mirror MI is my keyboard shortcut. I'll just select the window, and then I'll do the midpoint of this wall back here. Just come down. I want make sure that my ortho's on. If ortho's not on, it can be on a weird angle. We don't want that. So, and erase source objects, no. All right. Then I have a sliding glass door out there, but let me look at the fireplace. I've got a fireplace back up here. So let's see. The fireplace extends out beyond the exterior wall by a foot. So I'm going to offset 12 inches. And the end of the fireplace, the fireplace width is 8 feet, and it's centered on this back wall. So what I could do, there's a couple things I could do. I could draw a line and start at the midpoint. I'm not clicking, and then I'll just slide over, and then I'll type 4 feet and come up here. And I could do the same thing on the other side, or I could take that line and mirror it. And then I'll fill it or trim this and this. All right, now the overall depth of the fireplace is 2'5". So 2'5", oops, offset 2'5". And I will clean this up here, just fill it that and that. And then there is some wall there, and that's just going to be 5 inches. So I'm just going to offset around 5 inches. And I'll clean that up too. And so the firebox is 3 feet wide, and it is it's 3 feet wide in the back, and it's 4 feet wide in the front. And there is 2 inches of fire brick from the exterior, this exterior piece of wall here. So I'm going to go back. You know what I'm going to do? Let's just trim out this, just to make things a little easier to see and to read.
Can you say those dimensions one more time? 3 feet by?
Yeah, I will. So first, I'm going to offset 2 feet, 2 inches here for the back of the firebox. And then the opening here is 4 feet wide. So again, what I could do is I could do the line tool and I could come across here and go over 2 feet, half of 4 feet, right? 24 inches, and then come up. And in the back, it is 3 feet wide. So what I'll do is go back to my line tool. I'll start at the midpoint, come over half of 3 feet, which is 1'6". So that's where the line starts. I'll turn off my ortho here. And I'm just going to connect the dots here, connect those 2 lines. Now what I can do is do the mirror again. I can mirror those 2 lines based on the center of the fireplace. Make sure my ortho's on, ensure that I'm getting straight. Do not erase source objects. And then let's just trim this out. And I'm going to trim this, but I'm not going to trim this because the fireplace is up a little bit high. So we do see this lip here, this edge of the fireplace here. And then I have a hearth that extends out another 2 feet or another foot. So let me just offset that 12 inches. And that's kind of a raised hearth so that it's sort of sitting height. You'll be able to sit on this and, you know, warm yourself as you're sitting next to the fireplace. And then I have some bookcases or some shelving here off to the side, and I'm just going to draw a line across here. And there will be, so that is the edge of the bookcase there. And then above it are some shelving. So I'm going to draw that line across. And then I will, while I'm at it, I'll just mirror those. I could just draw them, but I'm just going to mirror them. And I have that back there. And so let's think about the ceiling here for a moment. So this is the kitchen area here, and the ceiling here in the kitchen is flat. It's a flat ceiling. But in the family room, we're going to have a pitched ceiling here. So it's going to slope up to a peak here, and then it's going to slope down here. And then right at the very top of the ceiling, I'm going to have a beam, sort of an exposed beam that's going to be running across. So what I want to do is I want to draw those ceiling components. I'm going to go across here, draw that, and then I've got that beam I want to show, and it's going right from the face of the fireplace, not the hearth, but the face of the fireplace. And it's going to go across, and that beam is 8 inches wide. So I'm just going to offset 4 inches on this side, 4 inches on this side. So I have 8 inches. Now, what I need to do is I need to show these as dashed lines. So last week we did that by coming up here, selecting the line, and then you can, over here in the properties palette here, I can, oops, sorry, this one, I can change that to -2 and show a dashed line. But I'm going to do it yet another way. I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to call this layer ceiling. So I'll click on this little icon right here for new layer. There it is, layer 1, and I'm going to call this ceiling. I'll call it ceiling above. And I'm going to change the line type on this ceiling from continuous, which is the default line type, and I'm going to change it to -2. And also, I'm going to change the color of it. Just so I know that it's on a different color, I'm going to just change it to yellow. Or actually, I'll turn it, I normally would change it to yellow, but I'm going to turn it into this darker color, this pea green color, so that it's more clearly visible when we're in paper space. So I'll click on that. So now I'm done with this. So now let's just change these beams from the walls layer to my ceiling above layer. And you'll notice that the color of them changed. So I know that they're on the right layer. I'm not seeing them as hatched here. Let me change my line type scale just for the heck of it. I'm going to go to LT scale. You don't have to do this, but you can. Mine's at 1. I'm going to change it to 48. So there you can see that I do indeed have dashed lines. And then I can do the same thing. I can choose this and then change the wall, change the layer, or I can use my trusty match properties button right here. Click on match properties, click the object, the source object, and then click the object I want to be changed. So now I know that in looking at this floor plan, I know that there's something going on above, right? There's no walls here. This is all open space, but I have one type of ceiling here, and then I have something going on here. I've got a beam, and then this is sloping up toward the beam, and this is sloping up toward the beam in that direction. So this is generally how you would, if you're working in an office, the odds are probably they will encourage you to show different line types on different layers rather than show the line type, just on the walls layer and just change it. You could do it that way too. So I'll just do it that way here for this millwork. So I have some cabinets here, or some shelves here rather. So I'm going to leave this on the walls layer for now. And I will change the line type to -2, and boom, I'm done, right? And if I'm not happy with the -2, if I want to make those dashes a little narrower or tighter, which I very well may want to do, I'll go over to my properties palette here, and I'll look over at my line type scale. My line type scale by default is 1. I'll bring that down. Let me just show it at 0.5, half that. And you'll notice that it's got nice tight line types. Now I like to make a distinction between the ceiling and millwork. So I like that being shorter, and I like this being a longer dash. So I think that works for me. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll just use match properties, select that, copy it over here. You'll notice that, by the way, anything I hover it over, it wants to change it. I'm gonna make sure I only select that. All right, so what else about this do we need to talk about? We've got a laundry room here, and we've got some millwork. Let me do a little bit of trimming here. This would be neat. I have a washer and a dryer, and generally speaking, I show washers and dryers as 27 inches square, 27 by 27. And so I will just do that. I'll draw a rectangle, 27, 27. Move this up. I'm not going to be too exact. I'm just going to kind of put it here. And then I've got another one here. And this, I want my ortho on because I want it to line up nice and neatly. And then I want to put a piece of millwork here. I'll offset 24 inches. And I'll come across, I don't know, 36 maybe. Yeah. So like that. And then it looks like I have a little sink in here. I could go over to my piano. I'll just grab this sink and the faucet, and I'll hit Control C to copy. I'm copying it to my Windows clipboard. I'll go back to my drawing. Control V as in Victor. There it is. I'll rotate it into place. Move it over. I don't know, middle, and I don't know, I'll put it on the end here. And last but not least, I need to put in some dimensions and a couple room tags or name tags. So let's go over to Paperspace. I'm going to, this will be 11 by 17. And personally, I think that the size of this sheet is a little awkward. The size of this title block with respect to the sheet is a little awkward, but I'm going to leave it. I want to be consistent with the other classes. And I will go over to, I'm going to create a viewport. I'm just going to type MView. Create a viewport. First thing I will do is place that viewport on my viewport layer. I am sorry to report to you that in the last project or the last homework, there still are a couple people who are not putting the viewport on the viewport layer and who are not locking it. So please, I'm not sure what more I have to do, but it is important. We're going to set the scale of this viewport to 1/4 inch. I will be so happy when every single person does it. There it is. Now, see, this is not even fitting on here. Clearly, something's goofy here. Let's go to 18.
I have a question. So in the like the drawing, it shows like behind the door and the by the garage, like there's like a line. How what's the distance between that? It's like next to the laundry room and like where it says garage.
Oh, okay. All right, let me go back. You're certainly right. I don't have everything there, do I? It looks to me, let me look at my notes here or at the handout. Bear with me for a moment here. So it looks like the garage is 20 feet wide, right? So let's offset 20 feet. And I'm going to make that wall also 6 inches. No, I'll make it 5 inches. And let's just trim that up a little bit. And then over here at this doorway, what I've got is I have some steps here that are going down into the garage. And I've got, and then I just have like a piece of cabinetry or a table here, I guess more or less like a workbench. So I have a 36-inch door here, I think, I believe. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to copy this door. Well, that certainly is not 36-inch door, is it? Oh, it's a 3'4" door, so I want that 36 inches. There we go, 36-inch door. And it's swinging wrong, so let's change the orientation of it. And I want to trim out this. But again, at the exterior of the building, I want to keep this line because we have a step down, right? It's not continuous. Similarly, at the door over here at the outside, I want to keep that outside line here because that's the edge of the building, right? You're stepping off here onto a patio or a deck or grass or sidewalk or whatever happens to be on the outside of the building. So there is a change in elevation here as you're stepping out of the building, to whatever it is outside. Same within the garage. I've got 2 steps, and those steps are 11 inches. And 4'4". I'll just trim this stuff out. So there are my steps that go up to the door that go into the house. And then this is just a little workbench right here on the side. That's just sort of finishing it off right there. So yeah, so while I'm at it, I've got some cut lines that I need to show here. And a cut line is, I don't know if you've taken the intro class, but I think we talk about cut lines a little bit. And what they do is they indicate that there's more wall, there's more going on beyond what's on the drawing. So on my cut line, I'm going to show a cut line here, here, and here. So let me go. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make the cut line a block. That way I can take that cut line and just copy it there, and I'll just have it forever. So let me start with a line, and I'll draw it here. So the cut line generally is not, well, sometimes they're straight across, but generally they're on a slight angle. I'm just going to draw that line just like this so that it's more or less here. Now, we're not talking about exact, but more or less equidistant on this side of the wall and on this side of the wall. And then I have a squiggle here, and it depends on what office. Sometimes it's more of a Z with straight lines, but we're going to draw a squiggle. And I'm going to use the spline tool. If you remember, we used the spline tool when we did that armchair a couple weeks ago, and it's in the the draw palette. And if you click on the little down arrow and then click on spline, the first spline fit, I'm going to pick a point. I want to turn my O snaps off here. I'm going to pick a point somewhere around here, and I'm just going to kind of go up and then down and then up, and then I'm going to extend and then hit enter. I'm extending my line and then I hit enter to complete this point. Now I'm going to do some trimming, and I will trim this piece and this piece and this and this. And this squiggle here is a perfect section cut mark. So let's make it a block. Step 1, making it a block. I want to make sure that is on layer 0. That's step 1. Okay, good. So what I did was I selected it and then put it on layer 0. Now I will type the word block, and I'm going to give it a name. And I'm just going to call it, I'll call it section. No, I'll just call it cut mark. And I'll pick a base point, and I'm going to pick the midpoint right here in the middle. Oh, my snap is off, so we'll put my O snap back on. I'm just going to pick this midpoint right here, and then I'll select the objects and then just hit enter and hit OK. And now there it is. Now I have my section cut. And I'm going to make sure that it's on the walls layer, and it is. So I want that section cut on the walls layer. And I like to trim beyond the cut mark. So now all I need to do is copy this for each of these walls. So this works nicely on the 6-inch wall, but on the 5-inch wall, maybe it's a little narrow. So I'm just going to edit this. I'm just going to tweak it. You don't have to, but I'm just not too happy with it. So I'm going to go to my block editor. What? I don't want to do it that way. I want to edit the block in place. I just like doing it this way better. And I'm just going to draw a line here just to, so I'm just going to just bringing it in just a little bit. That. Again, you don't need to be as fussy as I am with yours, but I'm just being me. And then I will save the changes. And besides, this is an excuse for me to go over making blocks with you all in disguise. And I'll just clean up these pieces of the wall. So what this is telling the viewer here is that this garage extends out. These walls are going to continue down here, but I'm just not showing it. All right, so I said to go on 11 by 17 title block, but I think I made a mistake. I think what we want to do is we want to work on the 18 by 24 title block. Sorry about that. So if you have 11 by 17 written down, write down 18 by 24. That's going to be more correct. So I drew my viewport. I want to put it on my viewports layer. I want to set my scale to 1/4 inch equals 1 foot 0 inches right down here. And then I want to lock my viewport. Now I can add some dimensions and I can add some text. I think I'll add a little bit of text here. So I'll go over to my text layer. Step 1. Step 2, note the scale of the viewport, 1/4 inch equals a foot, yes. And then go over to model space and make sure that the scale here matches it, 1/4 inch equals a foot. Very, very important. Now for room labels, I like to use 1/8 inch text. So I'll go over to annotate. And by default, my text is set to 3/32 of an inch. This would be if you have like notes on your thing, you know, like the wall thicknesses are blah, 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 and, you know, other notes that you might have, you would draw at 3/32. But what I am going to do is click, I just clicked on the drop down here, and I'm going to select 1-8 or 1/8 inch text. And then I'll just do single layer, single line text, and I'll just click here, click on it, and I'll click a start point for my text. And it's asking me for the rotation angle. Do I want the text rotated? Which I do not. And by default, if you look down here, it says 0. And that's what I want. So I'm just going to hit enter. And now I'm ready to put in laundry. Oops, in caps. We always want to be typing in caps. And then I'll just hit enter twice. I've got my laundry. Now, another thing that I like to do is I like to, when I have a washer and a dryer, I like to label them, because they're two squares and which is the washer and which is the dryer. By the way, which is the washer and which is the dryer? Does it matter? What do you think?
The washer would be next to the sink because of the bigger piping.
You are absolutely correct. And the other thing is, in this case, particularly, the dryer is closer to the exterior wall. So when we have to vent the dryer, right? So the vent comes out of the back of the dryer and then it goes up into the ceiling, over the ceiling, and then vents out to the wall. But yes, you are absolutely correct. We know we have water here, and you want that distance between the sink and the water for the washer to be as short as possible. So I will add some text here. And I will say W for washer. And then I'll move this just so it's right in the center, right where I want it. And then I'll copy it.
Paul, it also looks like in the laundry room, there's a shelf with a line going all the way across. Do you want us to put that in?
Oh, is there? Yes. Oops. Yes.
Would that be considered millwork or not?
Yeah, it would be considered millwork. Do I have a millwork layer? Oh, boy. I guess you can leave it on the walls layer. I'm going to have to talk to my colleagues in the interior design department, because I think that we're missing some important layers.
You want us to add a millwork layer, just like?
If you want to, you can. I would appreciate it if you did, but I'm not going to require you to. But that shelf, usually an overhead shelf, is 12 inches deep. And so I just offset this back wall 12 inches here, and it's going the full width. And I think that's what you want, right? You want shelving. You might put your fabric softener or your washing detergent up here on that shelf. And I want to dot it, right? Because it's above. So I want to show that dotted. And oh my gosh, I already have some dotted stuff here, right? So I'll just go to match properties, click on that, and click on that. Thank you for catching that. Yes, we want to show that. So obviously I'm not showing everything on here, but I think I went over the majority of the stuff here for you, and I'm hoping that you can work out the rest. I'm hoping you can work out this closet door and the toilets and the vanity. The vanity should be 24 by 36. So I'll do a rectangle. This time I'm typing RECT for rectangle. 24, 36. And I will move it.
When you're doing these drawings, where do you get this information that the vanity is this size and the door for the bathroom is smaller?
What I'm doing is I'm looking at the drawings that have been already drawn, and I'm using those same dimensions. So what I'm doing is I'm telling you those dimensions now, and you should just kind of write them down as I'm working.
But in the future, if we were working as a job, somebody would tell us, would they be?
Well, okay. Are you talking about like a new layout that you're designing, or are you talking about an existing building that you are doing remodeling to?
Yeah, I guess existing that you do remodel.
Okay, so if it's an existing building that you're remodeling, what you'll do, so all of these doors will already be there, right? So what you'll do is you'll measure those doors, and on your field notes, you'll you'll write in 32-inch door here, or 36-inch door into the laundry room. So you'll do it that way. But if you're drawing from scratch, let's just say that this is completely open, including this area here, and you're putting in this this bathroom and this laundry room here, you need to decide what those doors are. You'll need to make that decision Should this be a 36-inch door? Should it be 32? Or what? So you'll come up with the, a logical size for that door. By the way, for laundry room, if I just said to you, we want to put a laundry room in this space, right? And you put this laundry room in here, what size would you make the door? Is it variable? Could I put a 32-inch door in here?
Probably needs to fit a washer and dryer through it.
Who said that? Yes, you are exactly correct. Yes. So in a laundry room, and if you have a laundry room in your home, measure the door, and I'll bet you a donut that laundry room door is 36 inches wide, because you need to bring equipment into the laundry room. Yeah. So a laundry room door is always 36 inches wide. When you're designing or when you're space planning, just plan on it. Just plan on that laundry room door being 3 feet wide. But other doors, very often in residential, doors are 34 inches wide or 30 or even 32 or sometimes even 30 inches wide, depending on the age of the home and how tight of, the amount of space that you need. So I know that's a really long-winded question, but I'm sort of, as I'm going along here, I have some notes here on a sheet of paper here and I'm just giving you those notes. I'm kind of regurgitating them out for you to write down and so you can follow along.
But what was the door again leading into the home from the garage? Because I think it was initially 36, but then we changed it.
Yeah, no, you know what? The problem is that this door, which
Oh, that was
which
bigger.
I copied, was too big, I think, or so. Let's just see what this door is. Should be 36, I think. Yeah, this is a 36-inch door, 3-foot door.
So then what's the one in the bath?
This is 3-foot door too. Yeah.
No, in the bathroom, in the powder room.
2'8".
Okay.
Paul, could you review the walls for the fireplace? Is the exterior wall in the fireplace 6 inches?
No, this exterior wall is 5 inches here. And that's
Okay, so it's 5 all the way around then.
Yeah, it's 5 all the way around. And then this fire brick here is just 2 inches here from the back of the firebox to that wall. There's 2 inches of fire brick in there.
Thank you.
And over by the laundry room on the right side, there's a closet. How much is the one by the door? Like, how much is the wall on like both sides of the door?
This here.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um.
There are 2 doors, and then there's like a space.
So there's a sliding door here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like the overall clear dimension here is 5'7". I would think that door should be 5 feet wide.
5'8".
5 feet.
5 feet. Okay.
It can't be 5'8" because the door.
Mhm, yeah. Okay.
So if you make the door 5 feet wide with 2-inch door frames on either side, I think you'll be just fine.
Okay.
And there's a hatch shelf here, so I offset that 1'3". And then I'll make that dashed. So again, I'm not going through this with a fine tooth comb like you would. I at this point, I don't want to bore you by me drawing every minutia. But so your goal is on the 18 by 24 title block to get a viewport in, and that viewport will be at 1/4" scale. Get the floor plan in, and then show some dimensions, label your rooms, and please fill in your title block, and then upload it to Blackboard. Any other questions?
Paul,
I do have,
it's Rebecca. I have one quick question. The small sink, I know you copied it in the laundry room sink. Where do you find that in the blocks? That single little sink.
Good question. Well, let me open up my blocks palette here. And let me go over to, I think, kitchen, I think.
We had to make it smaller from the block that was there.
We did. So, but let me just find the sink. That's the tricky part. Wait. Here's sinks and faucets. Let's open up that.
If I remember correctly, I think it was in Design Center.
Well, it might be there, but it's also in sinks and faucets here. So if I go, so we go. So it's in kitchen. So 2D blocks, kitchen, and then down in here, sinks and faucets. And I'll click open. So here is a 24-inch sink. I'm just going to drag it into my drawing. It's green because I happen to have the text layer on. And you know what? Actually, you know what we should do now that we have these additional layers? Let's put the sink on the plumbing layer. And let me match properties. Put this sink on the plumbing layer. And you'll have the vanity sink here. That'll be on the plumbing layer, and the toilet will be on the plumbing layer. So yes, let's put those on the correct layer. So anyway, I brought this in, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my properties palette. I'm just going to latch it open here. And my X, Y, and Z scale factors are set to 1. And I'm not sure what I set this one to. Let's just see. Let me click on it. So I set my X scale factor to 0.5. So let me click on this, and I'll change my X scale factor to 0.5. And now I made a skinny sink. Does that answer your question, Rebecca?
Yes, thank you.
Did you do that by edit in place, or you just clicked on it and went to the properties and just changed it? So you didn't edit the block, you just...
That's correct. I did not edit the block. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and actually this skinny sink seems a little skinnier than I would want it. I might make it let's try 0.7. Maybe that's a little better, or 0.6. Oops. I mean, I'll let you play with it a little bit, but there we go. Does it answer your question? All right, anyone else?
I do have a question.
Sure.
So for the sliding door from the family room that leads outside, is there any specific thickness that we need to design that?
Design what? I'm sorry, the what?
The sliding glass doors that leads outside?
I would show them the same as you're showing the others. I would show them 1 3/4 inch.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Paul, regarding blocks, for when you created the cut mark block,
Yes.
once it's done, it's easy to find it by just under recent blocks. But if it's not recent, where does it go to? Because when you create a block, it doesn't give you the option to save it somewhere specific.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Let me close my properties palette here. I'm just going to minimize it. So the question was, I think the question is, what if I want to use this on another project? What if I want to keep this block forever and use it elsewhere? Which is a valid question. Well, this block is located in this drawing. Any blocks that we create are located within the drawing that we created. But we want to save this. We want to write it to our jump drive so that we have this block forever. And in order to do that, you have to use W block. W stands for write. So W block, the letter W block. And now the write block dialog box comes up, and it's going to ask me what the source is, what it is I want to write block. So I'm going to click block, and then I'll click down here. And these are all of the blocks that are currently inside my drawing. And the one that I created was cut mark. So I'm going to click cut mark. And then down here, it's asking me where I want to put that block. So what I'm going to do is I will go over to my 2D blocks. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a new folder and I'm going to call it My Blocks. So any blocks that I create, I know will be in My Blocks. So I clicked into My Blocks and I'm going to put my cut mark and click Save. And then hit OK.
No, yes, sir. Thank you.
What was that?
Hi, hi. जी बैठा था.
So now I have,
Hi, Tala.
Urja, are you talking to me or someone else? Okay, so now I have that cut block, that cut mark available for any project that I work on. So let me just, I'm going to go back to, this is my piano drawing. If I type insert and if I want to look within the current drawing, these are the blocks that are in my current drawing. But if I want to find that block and insert it into this drawing, I can go over to libraries here. I'll click on the little button here to navigate over. And right now this is set to kitchen. So I'm going to go up to My Blocks. There's the cut mark. Hit open. And then there's my cut mark. And I can just pull it into my document. There it is. It came in purple because I have my dimensions layer on, so it's on the dimensions layer. So yeah, great question. You know, because as you create blocks, you may want to keep them and use them on other projects. So yeah, great. Anything else? Oh, I also see in Paperspace here, I see on the drawing, there's a north arrow. So let me see if I can find the north arrow here. Maybe under symbols. Yeah, there it is. So there is a north arrow. And, oh, you know what? Okay, something very important that I didn't do. I need to reset my line type scale. So remember back when I was in model space here, I set my line type scale to 48, but I want to change it back to 1, LT scale 1. Oops, sorry, LT scale, enter 1. All right, now when I go here, my LT scale is correct. So so now insert. There's my north arrow. And oh my gosh, why is it showing this north arrow so ginormous? I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it down. And I'm going to scale it. I'm just going to visually scale it down. So, and the north arrow is to the right. So I need to rotate this so that it's to the right. So the north arrow is shown on that handout more or less over here. And this is, I guess it's okay, but really the north arrow should be always below your drawing. It's just good practice for your north arrow to be below your drawing. So I would put it either, you know, down here in the lower right or down here in the lower left. And this is just, it's just a better place for the north arrow to be. Because most of the time, not most of the time, but often you'll have notes on your drawing, and those notes would go up in this area here, right where the north arrow is. So I would put the north arrow unobtrusively off to the right or off to the left, but near the bottom, sort of near your title block. Okay, so so that's the goal for next Monday, to have this done. And any more questions about it? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing.